But even Tim Miller, who was once a Republican, I believe he worked for the RNC at one time.
Yeah.
But he, another one's got, as soon as Trump won, he became triggered so he went on the other route, be never Trumper. But so she did all these friendly media interviews. And this one, you got to watch this one.
Yeah.
It was on the Tim Miller podcast. Let's go to cut 8.
He didn't talk about him that well, though. He couldn't talk about them. He wasn't campaigning.
No. Wait. First of all, he did talk about them. Whether it broke through or not, he did. Tim, he did talk about.
I mean, he talked way less to the press than Donald Trump does. Way less. And he wasn't out there at all. He wasn't good off the cuff. He wasn't doing press conferences. Let's just be real. Like, he didn't do paid events.
Tim, that's not true. Tim, you're conflating all of it. That's what you're. No, you're telling me he didn't talk well about it. Then you're telling me he didn't talk at all.
He didn't do either. He didn't talk very often, and when he did, it wasn't very good. He sounded very old.
Maybe you weren't paying attention to what we were doing at the White House. But
I paid attention. I'm with you on the policies. I'm talking about his performance.
The president spoke to the American people a couple times a week. He traveled and did domestic travel and talked directly to the American people. We are talking about a time politically that is incredibly partisan. It's hard to break through any messaging. And it was an incumbency as well.
On top of the Zoom like that too. Karine, you're like the former spokesperson. Don't you know how to do an interview? Back up, girl, right?
Well, new hair. But I got to say, that might be the biggest lie she has ever told. And you could fill an Encyclopedia Britannica with them. The White House now has more media. I meet people there that are like independent outlets I've never heard of before. It's so transparent. Trump never stops giving them access in there. And, her boss, Anita Dunn, when she was the press secretary, didn't want her traveling with the president abroad and said something like, let's leave that to somebody with war-type experience. You're a woman and a mother, and we should send somebody else. But she probably didn't want to take Karine Jean-Pierre on those trips because she would embarrass the United States because she's not really good at what she does. Unlike Caroline Leavitt, who's on top of it, informed, and doesn't take any crap.
They put themselves in a pickle. They put themselves in a box. She's there because she was the first LGBTQ, the first black, a minority. And then they realized, oh, my God, she's so bad. But they can't fire her. Why? They didn't want to take the heat. Everything about them is diversity and not about qualifications, not about excellence. They put themselves in this whole box, and that's what happens with them. Yeah. So when she does this book rollout, David, she was so beloved by the press corps. The press corps is so different now, like you just said. Back to ABC, NBC, CBS, they threw out the Newsmaxes, the RAV. RAV didn't have no seat. We had Lindell TV. There was no seat in the White House press corps. They threw them out. So she was beloved every day. So she probably thought, I'm going to do my book tour and Tim Miller and all these other, and they're just going to give me the softball of questions. But even these folks are like, hey, girl, let's answer a couple of questions, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you compare her to, say, Kelly McEnany, Ari Fleischer, who's one of the best press secretaries ever, Tony Snow, even Marlon Fitzwater and all these guys, you can't compare. Caroline Leavitt, she is not in that league. And she's she wasn't even as good as Jake Carney, who just had to lie every day